Hello, I am Ville Koskinen from Matrix Science. Let's take a look at the new features and improvements in Mascot Server 2.8. Mascot Server 2.8 was released in July 2021. Here's a summary of the new features and significant changes. Error-tolerant searching has long been part of Mascot. We've added a new statistical model for ET expect values, and you can also submit a target decoy ET search to estimate the false discovery rate. We've added new computed peptide features for Percolator, which increases Percolator sensitivity in most datasets. It's especially beneficial for endogenous peptides. PSMS database searches in the new version are about 20 to 30% faster with medium to large searches. This is due to removing disk access bottlenecks. You can now choose a default false discovery rate for peptide spectrum matches when you submit a search. We've added a configuration editor for crosslinking methods, as well as exporting cross-linked search results in CSV and XML format. The speed and memory usage of cross-linked searches has also been improved. The Mascot error tolerance search is the most efficient way to find unsuspected modifications, non-specific cleavage products, and sequence variants. Error tolerance searching is not new in itself, but in version 2.8 we've reviewed the statistical model. You can now submit the ET search as a target decoy search and select the desired false discovery rate in the search form. This gives a solid empirical basis for the statistics. The first pass search is a standard database search, and the matches are thresholded to the selected FDR, by default 1% FDR. In the second pass, Mascot only searches database entries which have at least one significant match from the first pass at the chosen FDR level. Then, as in previous versions, Mascot iterates through a comprehensive list of modifications, uses relaxed enzyme specificity, and tries single residue substitutions or single nucleotide substitutions, insertions, and deletions. Finally, the first and second pass results are merged, and the second pass matches are thresholded to yield 1% FDR. Here's a screenshot of search results of an error-tolerant search. The highlighted row is a high-scoring ET match with C-terminal methylation. The expect value column displays the statistical confidence. For more details, have a look at our ASMS 2021 presentation, Statistical Significance in Error-Tolerant Search Results. The next improvement is also in target decoy searching. Mascot ships with Percolator, which is a semi-supervised machine learning tool. Percolator rescores database matches to improve separation between true and false matches. Percolator has been shipped with Mascot for many years. In version 2.8, we've updated the Percolator executable to the latest version, 3.05. The Percolator training phase is now multi-threaded, so we'll use more than one CPU core. Percolator training depends on computed features extracted from target and decoy matches. We've added new features in Mascot 2.8, which supports 46 features in total. This includes features like charge state, precursor mass error, variable modifications, matched intensity, fragment mass error, and so on. We've also improved the handling of retention time as a feature. Mascot ships with a new default feature set. The feature set was designed so that you get an improvement in sensitivity in most datasets. The improvement in sensitivity is particularly good with endogenous peptides. Our September 2021 blog article uses a library of HLA peptides to illustrate the improvement. In this dataset, the new features give 60% more PSMs and 30% more peptide sequences at the same FDR compared to Mascot 2.7. Enabling the retention time feature in the previous version made little difference in this dataset, whereas in the new version it gives an additional boost to PSMs and sequences. Database searches in the new version are a bit faster than in the previous version. Mascot used to have a few steps where only a single processing thread is active, no matter the size of your license. These were splitting search data into chunks at the beginning of the search, merging intermediate results into a temporary file between chunks, and merging results at the end of the search. Whether the steps are actually a bottleneck depends on the search parameters, search space, and the size of the input data. The relative speed of the disk compared to the CPU is also a factor. As a rough guide, if the search has tight mass tolerances and few variable modifications, a reasonable amount of time could be spent on disk operations, so the singly threaded steps could be a bottleneck. Conversely, an error-tolerant search is likely to be CPU-bound, and relatively little time is spent on disk operations, so the singly threaded steps probably wouldn't be a bottleneck. We replaced the singly threaded steps with multi-threaded code and benchmarked a range of typical datasets. The change is an overall improvement. Disk-bound MSMS database searches are now 20 to 35% faster. Whether a specific search is faster in the new version depends on the factors mentioned earlier. Our August 2021 blog article has more detail about the change and describes one of the benchmarking datasets. This is a search of the human proteome of about 683,000 spectra. The search was run on a typical 4-core Intel Core i7 system using a 1-CPU Mascot license. The search had one variable modification and tight mass tolerances. As you can see in the table, the new version is faster by a good margin on both traditional hard disks and solid-state drives. The improvement also applies to multi-CPU licenses, cluster installations, and systems with RAID arrays. Mascot 2.8 has a new search form control for target decoy searches. You can select a target FDR for peptide spectrum matches from a drop-down menu. The setting applies to both standard searches and error-tolerant searches. In standard searches, results are automatically thresholded to the selected FDR when the report loads. In error-tolerant searches, Mascot additionally thresholds first-pass matches to the selected FDR before running the second-pass search. Protein Family Summary has two new format controls. The Target FDR drop-down menu allows selecting a different FDR. The FDR Type drop-down menu allows choosing either PSM FDR or Sequence FDR. Searching intact cross-linked peptides was added in Mascot 2.7. In 2.8, we've made a few more improvements. The first is a new configuration editor for cross-linking methods. The user interface is similar to the quantitation method editor. You can tick the boxes to enable or disable interlinking, intralinking, and loop linking. The linkers are available in a drop-down menu, and any monolinks or directionality constraints can be chosen in the multi-select boxes. At the bottom are the accession settings and other filters. You can now export integrated search results in CSV and XML format. The output file contains both linear and cross-linked matches, including any monolinked peptides. The cross-linked part of the database search uses less memory than in Mascot 2.7. We've also improved CPU scaling with cross-linked searches. If your search only uses intralinking, there should now be no limit on the number of proteins that can be intralinked. The cross-linking method still specifies a softer limit called max proteins, which is a safety valve for interlinked searches. Thank you for your attention.